Are you ready to do a whiskey quickie with the new Booker's batch 2024-02? Let's go. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me for this fresh crack bottle review of the new Booker's. This just came out and I'm starting to see Booker's a lot more often in my area. Now Booker's used to be really sought after, but there's not as much hype on the new Booker's batches as there used to be. Cork pop.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
How could you be so sure?
Because they're becoming a lot easier to find in my area at least, and the price keeps going up. And so they're not as heavily sought after as they were a few years ago. So now that they're becoming easier to find, but each batch seems to be more expensive than the last one, let's see how this batch fares. So we're gonna put the first pour into the Affinity bottle. And the next pour, we are going to review with you. Let's put the cork back on it and take a look at the bottle while we let that sit for a little bit. We're going to let that whiskey just air out for a minute. Now this batch is called the Beam House batch, and like every other batch, it comes in the fancy Booker's box. And just like all the other Booker's releases, inside that box is a card of information, and on the front of it, it tells the batch story. This one is called the Beam House batch. It is named after the home that the family grew up in. And so if you want to read about that, I'm going to put that on the screen. You can press pause and you can read the whole thing if you want. And on the back, it has the master distiller notes. And so I'm going to also put that up on the screen. So if you want to read about that, you can press pause and read about that. But it tells you that there's 5 different whiskeys from 4 different warehouses on multiple different levels. Those 5 whiskeys were all blended into making this one batch, which comes in at 62.3% APV. That's 124.6 proof. And you know they have to put the age statement according to the youngest whiskey in this batch, to which this batch, the youngest whiskey, is 7 years, 2 months, and 22 days old. Okay, so now that we've let this glass get some air for a few minutes, let's take a look at the glass. It's got a nice rich amber color. It does have some nice legs on it though. Going to the nose. Oh, I got Cracker Jacks right off the bat. Caramel corn, a little bit of peanuts, a lot of char, a lot of barrel, a lot of oak. I am getting a bit of ethanol on the nose, so I'm gonna let this sit for another minute. All right, let's check out the nose one more time. It's a little bit more caramel forward now that it's set a little bit longer. But it smells inviting. Let's go for it. Cheers. So it's 124.6 proof, and you can feel it tingling different parts of your mouth, all across your palate. You can feel that proof, but there's a lot of nice caramel covered peanuts going on. It has a nice Kentucky hug, really strong. A robust Kentucky hug. It's still going right now. But now that my palate's a little bit more acclimated, let's go in for that second sip right away. Let's get it, guys. Cheers. I think I like this one just as much as I like the Storyteller batch. Now, the Storyteller batch was from last year. I did not get the 01 release from earlier this year. This one is the 02. But the Storyteller batch was the 04 release because there's 4 releases per year. And I really like the Storyteller batch. In fact, let's do a really quick side-by-side. All right, here's the Storyteller batch. All right, let's get this going. Nice. So pouring a little bit of the Storyteller batch to do a quick side-by-side. This is the last release I have from them. It's their 4th release from last year. 63.9% APV, 127.8 proof. Let's do a quick refresh of the Beam House batch. Lots of Cracker Jacks. Nice strong finish. Robust in the back of the palate. Lots of stuff going on. But it's mainly just oak, char, caramel corn, and some caramel covered peanuts. And let's try this Storyteller batch, which I was a big fan of. Even though this one is a couple proof points higher, it's lighter on the nose. Let's go in for it. Cheers. Oh wow. So this one is stronger in the front and the middle of the palate. Not as strong in the back of the palate as the Beam House batch is. It doesn't have as long as a finish, but I really like those great flavor notes in the front of the palate. All the woods and caramels, they're more up front on the Storyteller batch when in the Beam House batch, they're more in the back. That's really interesting. And so my final thoughts are, it is a good bottle. It's good drinking whiskey. But if you're going to raise the price with every release that comes out, people are going to stop hunting it. And this one being $113 out the door, I'm going to tell you, try to find a sample of it first. Because if it doesn't blow your socks off, don't buy it. But if it's your jam, it's totally worth it to buy one. I'm not buying a backup. Thanks for watching. Earn, Protect, Enjoy. Cheers. Alright, so this one was great on the back of the palate. The last batch I had was great in the middle of the palate. So let's join those forces together. See if they bring that full meal deal. Man, why didn't they do it like that in the first place?